don't let your boyfriend prevent you from meeting your husband. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Nadale, and it's my first get ready with me chit chat about relationships, and I'm super excited and nervous at the same time. I make videos on motherhood, makeup and fashion, so if that's something you're interested in, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and let's hop right into the video. So I asked you guys on a question sticker on Instagram. You know, I'm shooting a video and I want to talk about relationships, so where should I go with this conversation? And you guys sent me some questions, so I'm going to use that to guide me through this conversation. I've already done my eyes and my eyebrows just to speed up this video because I don't have many questions. So I am definitely going to start from this part of my makeup routine just so we can kind of get through it faster. I'm gonna start with this question that I really like. How long is too long to be in an active relationship before you guys get married? And I think the answer to that is 2 years. That's just me personally. Like after 2 years, you need to be on a knee or asking a question. You need to be doing something. And truth be told, first you need to establish what is the status of your relationship to begin with. Are you guys dating or in a relationship? Because girls will start a relationship count before men do. Like they try and count from the day y'all start talking, and men not really like that. Like he has to ask you to be his girlfriend. Okay, I know it sounds rather like old school. He has to court you, right? You and only you, and then he has to ask to be in a relationship with you. Now there will be a point in the dating life where y'all might be dating multiple people. If he dating multiple people, sweetie, you dating multiple people, you kind of count that as a relationship because it's not, you know, because you've seen different people. Once you pass the dating phase and you say, hey, we're in a relationship, he should already know what your intentions are. You should already know what his intentions are, and you guys intentions supposed to be aligned. Now I'm going to do my correcting because I almost, you know, went ahead and did it before I did my priming. But so yeah, definitely establish what you guys want out of this relationship. And if you are a person who wants to get married, you definitely have to attract that. So like, I always knew I wanted to get married, but then saying I want to be married and actually like meaning like I want to be married is two different things, right? So, you know, as a girl, you feel like, you know, it's part of what's supposed to happen. So of course you want to be married. I mean, why wouldn't you? Because that you're supposed to do according to society, right? But why do you want to be married? Do you want to be married because it's something you need to check off a list? Do you want to be married because you always want to be married? Do you want to be married to that person you're saying that you want to be married to? Like all of these things are things that you truly want to take into consideration. You want to be married? Hey, or you want to have a wedding? Let's talk about it. Now I'm getting excited. Like a lot of girls my age, and I'm 29, about to be 30, they want to post on Instagram. They want to say why hashtag wifey. They want to put it in their bio. But do they want to be yo, this conversation is about to get really good. Do they want to be the person that would get a call if you were in an accident and say, hey, your husband, da, 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 you need to come and put things in order? Would you really be there to take care of that person, that specific person? You put in a time limit on if they marry you or not. Would you want to be there to take care of that person in sickness? Let's not talk about health, because when things sweet, they're good. In brokenness, if they God forbid lose their job and you have to be the one financially providing for them, would you be willing to do it for that specific person? Do you want to build a family and raise children with that specific person? And that is another thing too. Like a lot of women want to marry the man, right? They want a husband, but you also have to think about that person being a father. Is that somebody that can guide and lead, you know, and you can trust your children's lives with that specific man, because daddy issues, y'all already know how daddy issues can get. So when you're talking all that stuff about you want to get married, really think before you give somebody a deadline. Do you really want to get married to that specific person? But to answer the question, I would say in 2 years that person should really know if they want to marry or not. If they're not even talking about it after 2 years, it's a wrap. Just forget about it. Now, if that person, like if you're giving that person an ultimatum, or marry me or else, or you need to marry me by that date, it's not going to work. Men don't operate like women do when it comes to marriage. We are encouraged to get married by a certain date according to society. For men, it's the reverse. They are encouraged to get money, make a name for themselves. And I understand why women want to get married by a certain age, because of course we want to have children. And after 35, things start getting a little bit risky, if we are being honest. I'm using my Juvia's Place foundation. Y'all just kind of be in a relationship playing games because you're an adult, I mean, even when you are younger, like in your relationship, don't give away your good years to somebody for like how many years, and then you guys break up and you're wondering why you waste so much time. I think you definitely need to be true to yourself and the things that you want and need out of a husband, and making sure that that person is a husband. But before you even do that, making sure that you are a wife. It's not just about cooking and cleaning and knowing how to do things. Wives should know how to do. All that stuff is great. All that stuff is great. But you truly have to think about if that is the person that you want to really do life with. Truly, like, that is really what is going to happen. Doing life and building a legacy for your children. And if you don't want to have children, then okay, cool. Taking children out of it, is that a person that when you are at your lowest, they're going to help build you up, or they're going to help tear you down, or they're going to constantly remind you that you're not the person that they were in love with, or you used to be nice and slim when they marry you, but now you gain a little weight and they have how much things to tell you. Like, you really want to make sure, and you can never really be 100% sure, because ninjas will switch up on you. That is a fact. But you just have to kind of, like, to the best of your ability, make sure that that person is who you want to be with first. Is it a person that you can tolerate? That is really the question. Is it a person that you can continue to build with, even if you're not on the best of terms? You still have to parent with that person. You still have to put money in the same pot with that person. And let's say you're sure that that is the person, you're doing everything right, and you feel like marriage should be coming your way. I say 2 years still for sure, 3 years maximum. And if after 3 years you guys are not married, don't let your boyfriend prevent you from meeting your husband. You hear me? That's all I have to say. Just trust me, sweetheart. There's a husband for you somewhere that wants to marry you. Even if you're in a relationship and you love the person. Love is an emotion that coming and going, eh? I bought a new Shape Tape concealer, but I don't see it here. Hopefully this one has enough to get me through. I did make it very clear that I wanted to be married early on in my relationship. And I think you do have to set your boundaries and stick to them. If you say after 2 years you're not seeing any ring, or people not getting married, and you're going to bounce, then bounce. You ever heard that song? If you love something, let it go, and if it comes back, then that's how you know. I mean, what is for you, what they say, what is for you will always be for you. But just make sure when you're asking people about marriage, you truly want to be a wife and you're ready to be a wife, because it's gonna be one thing when you ask for that, and then when it comes, you're not participating, you're not doing the wifely things you're supposed to be doing. It's not happy wife, happy life. It's happy spouse, happy house. Okay. Now segueing into another question. I got one question that was about my personal relationship, and it was, what were some green flags you saw in your spouse? Guys, there were so many green flags. I don't know where to start. Like, some green flags was the way that he treated other people. That was a big one for me. How he treated his friends, the members of his family, children. That was a big thing for me. Children, like, I need to know how you treating children, because I want to have children and I do not want my children. Hold on. Okay, so this is the Anastasia Beverly Hills loose powder. It's my first time trying it, and I learned about this from Tamara Renee, so I have been influenced to buy it, and hopefully it goes well and I really like it. But Anastasia Beverly Hills is known to be a really good brand, so it shouldn't be bad at all. I'm just letting my under eyes dry up a bit before I put it on there. But yeah, I didn't want my children to have any like daddy issues, right? And so if I pick the right father for them that I think is going to take care of them and be there regardless, no matter what happens to me or us, he is going to be 100% a good father to them, like 24/7. So that definitely was one, because he was great with kids, and all of his like friends and whatnot had only, you know, nothing but good things to say about him. So this is also, I think, the color peach, so this is very interesting for me to try. Another green flag for me was him really teaching me a lot. Like, I love that, like him teaching me to not rely on him for my happiness. And it was a hard pill to swallow, trust me. I was like, what? I remember him saying like, I'm not supposed to be the source of your happiness, and I was like, what? Like the hell not. But what he was saying is that all of my happiness shouldn't come from him. I should be able to make myself happy too, and him making me happy is additional. But you know, don't depend fully on somebody else, because guess what, when that person, if that person decides to leave, you're gonna do what? End up in a depression, like how I was in my first situation. So it was a hard pill for me to swallow. But what he did though was help me realize or revisit the things that I loved to do that will always make me happy. And you heard that weird bang from nowhere? But he helped me start being creative again. That's how I restarted my YouTube channel. At the time we were just dating, and he bought me the lights, and he was like, yeah, you should make an Instagram page to do your makeup, because I told him I always wanted to do that, but you know, I just never felt confident enough to do it. And he was just a big like cheerleader. He didn't used to just talk, but he would do things to help me like really come out of my comfort zone. Like, I felt that whenever he told me I could do something, I could really do it. How are we feeling about, let me go ahead and blend it up here, but how are we feeling about the under eyes? It looked really smooth to me. Another thing that I liked is that Sweetie, he wouldn't let me pay for anything. And I wasn't accustomed to like that type of treatment. Like, let me pay for this, let me pay for that. Like, I was really like on my, oh, I'm independent, I have money, I can do it for myself. And even if I didn't have money, like, you wouldn't know either, right? So I was definitely like that type of girl. I don't know if covering my freckles so much is like the best thing to do, but I already did it, so. But anyway, yeah, so him taking care of me was a big red flag. A big green flag, what am I saying? Yeah, definitely. So it was a really, really green flag that he was willing to like take care of me and pay for stuff. So that was really nice. Another thing is that he would pay attention to the things that I said in like a video call, and like he would do it like if I wanted something for my birthday, if I had just mentioned it, like casually he would write it in his notes, and then he would like deliver on that. So that was another green flag for me. Another green flag for me was that he brought a certain kind of peace to me that I had never experienced before. So that was another green flag for me. And his follow through, like if he said he would do something, then he actually would do it. So that's something that definitely was another green flag for me. And the fact, another green flag was he stimulates my mind. He makes me want to go and research about certain topics that I probably wasn't even interested in the beginning. Like, he'll be knowing all kind of stuff and I'll be like, how do you even know that? Like, that's so random. You know, but he definitely like encourages me to broaden my mind and my thinking or my stance on things or different conversations and topics, just because of what he can bring to the conversation. And I was really lacking that. Like, my brain cells were actually dying from my last relationship. Like, no shit, but that ninja didn't know ish about nothing. So at the end of the day, I really, really appreciated that. And just the fact that he can, you know, hold a conversation. He's not the type of person that will just talk to just run their mouth. He's the type of person that says only like valuable stuff. So if you're having a conversation, he'll be quiet for most of it. And when he starts talking, just know he about to drop some real gems. So he is that type of person, you know, responsible. Like, you know, he really was and still is like a person that I felt like safe with, that will help me elevate. And that was a big major green flag for me. Okay, so now I'm going to contour. And we're going to contour with my favorite contour palette. Y'all already know I use this all of the time. Am I forgetting a step? I don't think so. So the other ladies asked me, how do you forgive somebody after you have been hurt? Forgiving hurt is very difficult, and some people claim that they can just like X somebody out and that will be the end of it. But if you really love that person, like, that's usually not the case. But I'll say give yourself grace in the situation. Like, give yourself time to really feel the emotions that you need to feel completely and wholly before you try to move on from it, because a lot of people suppress emotions, and suppressed emotions lead to bad decision making and, you know, future problems in the relationships to come. So definitely identify what it is that hurt you. Why did it hurt you so much? Is it something that you feel like is where is it, like, to like really evaluate to what extent you are hurt, feel the pain, all of that. And I would say the next step would be to seek counsel. That could be through therapy, that could be through your church, a trusted loved one. But for me, that was with God. Like, I was hurt really, really bad in my first relationship. I was done wrong, like really, really bad. I was cheated on. I felt embarrassed, all of those things. But when I one day, like, I used to cry so bad that one day I didn't have a choice. Like, I was already on my knees, like crying. I didn't have a choice but to just bend my knees and pray. And I just had to bend my knees and pray, and I didn't say anything in that prayer. My heart spoke for me straight to God. Like, God already knew. He was just waiting on me to come to him. And I think all of the like real healings that happening after that. So so for me, that was the best counsel, just kind of talking to God, because God will remind you. I feel like sometimes God will cause certain things to happen in your life so you can come back to him and ask for permission and ask for guidance, and rebuild your trust in him and rebuild your relationship with him. So that definitely is something that you can probably do if you are a person that is spiritual. And I don't say religious for a reason, because I feel like it's really spirituality, like your own personal relationship with God, that will help you. It's nice to call yourself a Christian or whatever religion that you subscribe to, but when all that is taken away, what is your true personal relationship with God? So after you have prayed, you have meditated, you have evaluated like the level of hurt and what it will take from you to come from that, and like you feel bad and you acknowledge your emotions and you don't just brush them aside, you put your feelings first. Then the next step, after you have gotten counsel, is falling in love with yourself again. The more that you realize that you need you more than you need that person, you're going to be able to bounce back quicker than you thought, and forgiveness will come easier if you do want to forgive that person. Most times forgiveness is more for you than them. So yeah, that is definitely what I think would happen. Just kind of give yourself, because the attachment to that will keep you more trapped than you actually realize, right? And you definitely want to go into your next relationship fully, not partially. So I would definitely say that you take the necessary time, fall back in love with yourself, keep getting counsel, whether that is from a therapist, but it must be somebody that has really good intentions and that you can trust their word, because not every messenger is supposed to be delivering a certain message. Okay, so you definitely have to watch who the messenger is, their track record, their intentions, all that, before you just start listening to them. Okay, now we're going to do blush. Okay, so I have this Juvia's Place palette. I do use the orange in there, but I keep on feeling like it doesn't give me what I want to get. So I might go back into a different palette as well. Okay, the next question is, how do you establish boundaries? Hold on, let me read it because I don't want to lie. Okay, implementing boundaries and not being a people pleaser. Okay, first of all, do you even know what your boundaries are? That is the first question. Knowing what you can and cannot tolerate, what you will and will not tolerate, what is definitely a deal breaker, and what is something you can come back from. Those are important questions to ask yourself. And once you have made, you can write those down so you can constantly remind yourself if somebody try you. You see what I'm talking about? Is it, I don't know, do y'all see what I'm talking about, or is it just me? I feel like the blush is there, but it's still not giving me what I want to get. So I'm definitely going to go into another blush and add that on top of that. And for this, I am using my Sephora palette. I think this is discontinued, but I really like it a lot, and I'm going to use the Coral blush in this palette, which is this color right here. Okay, so once you have established your boundaries, you know what they are, and you let other people know what they are. because you cannot like hold something against somebody if they didn't even know it was a rule or a boundary that, you know, they couldn't cross. So I mean, some people will say, oh, some things are, you know, you don't even have to mention, people should already know. But no, it's better if you let them know, and you also let them know what it will be the repercussions. So if you are in a relationship and this is something that, whatever is something you wouldn't tolerate, you let that person know. For me, I have a free strike rule. Strike one, you get a warning. Strike two, you're taking me for a papi show. Strike three, I'm not even telling you. You hit strike three, I'll just be gone. Like, that is just me personally. Everybody should establish their own ways to deal with when somebody crosses the line, but for me, that is really it. And it took me a while before I was even able to do that. So I think all things kind of come with time and experience. So you kind of learn yourself more and what you can and cannot tolerate. Okay. So you also have to live your life for you and not other people, because while you trying to make somebody else happy, they're making themselves happy too. So keep that in mind as well. Sometimes you have to be selfish about your emotions and your time, and your, don't make people waste your time, your good years trying and change them. Don't do it. The next question is, talk about insecurities and control. Now, control is one of those things I like to think is very attached to abuse. Like, why are we trying to control each other as adults? That is the real question. Because everybody big, right? So if somebody is trying to control you in a relationship because of their own insecurities, you know, they might be feeling like, oh, they knew that they were not your type, but you know, they end up getting to be with you, and so now they don't want you to go out, or anytime they see you like talking to somebody that might be a little bit more of your type, they get like super insecure and like doing a bunch of weird stuff. Again, that goes with boundaries. You know when enough is enough and when it's time to go. So, but control can easily lead to some type of abuse, whether that might be emotionally, mentally, physically, financially. So the moment that you start seeing signs of controlling behavior, you want to first ask an impartial person from the outside looking in that you can confide in and trust. And if they also see the signs that you are referring to, or they tell you you're tripping, like, you kind of have to like gauge, you know, if they really see what you're saying is true, make your exit slowly but surely, however quickly you want to do it. If you can do it quick, even better, because it's never a good ending when somebody has like control over you. Because like I said, we're grown. Why we need to be controlling each other? Okay, so with the look, I feel like it's coming along. Like up here is doing something weird, but that usually happens to me. So let me see if I can patch it up a bit. But yeah, don't try to fix anybody, trust me. That's something I should have said when I did the green light question about my spouse, because I didn't have to fix him. I didn't have to build a boo, none of that. He was ready made, ready to go, like everything. So that was definitely something, because I feel like I had to help them other niggas too much. I mean ninjas too much, right? Like no. He had a plan, he had a goal, he was working towards things in life, he already knew what paths he was taking, all that. So for me, it was kind of just easier for me to like be an addition to his plans and him be an addition to mine. So I am coming up on the lips, and then we just have to, do I want to do something with my under eyes? Yeah, I might just use that brown shadow on my waterline. I don't need to do this off camera, so I will see you guys, or just not talking to. Hold on. Oh, I just remembered something as I was thinking about it. Two other green lights for me was that he didn't smoke and he didn't cuss. Girl, that was a big old green light. You hear me? Big. And I also realized that I didn't blend my face, so I'm going to take my MAC foundation and a big old fluffy brush and just blend everything nicely together. I also realized that I don't think I put any highlight on the middle of my nose, but it's okay. I feel like it's fine. And oh, another big green flag. Let me tell you something. I could have a list of these green flags. I really like this question as well. But another green flag was we didn't have like screaming arguments and like this person calling this one that and screaming and cussing and doing all that. No, we have intense conversations. It might get a little bit intense, meaning that some of the things, questions being asked, you don't really want to admit to. You know what I mean? Like you don't want to admit you were wrong, so you kind of like, it might get a little bit uncomfortable or whatever the case may be. But it definitely is healthy. It was healthy in like situations where, you know, you're not all peaches and cream. So it was definitely conversations rather than arguments. But yeah, this is how we're looking for right now. And I think I'm just going to do my lips and then spray my face. So hold on, let me do a little bit of mascara before I do that. So yeah, healthy. And I definitely had those like combative arguments in the past that were very, very unhealthy and, truth be told, childish AF. So I definitely love that we could talk things out rather than cuss and argue, because that wasn't it, okay? So now that we have that done, I think I'm going to line my lips today because I want plump lips, and I'll put a pink in the middle. Alright, so for this I'm using the NYX Push Up Long Lasting Lipstick in the color Teddy. I already moisturized my lips a bit earlier. So while I do that, I will talk about the last question, which is, how did I know my spouse was the one? Ooh, that's a good one. Well, if I'm being honest, someone told me that I was going to meet my husband in August of the year that I met him, and I really did meet him that time. It never occurred to me until, like, I think I realized that like after the fact, which was really, really funny, because I really wasn't trying to like talk to him like that. So yeah, that definitely. And when I met him, I was in a relationship, so I definitely wasn't thinking about being with him or anything. But so it was kind of like told to me. And then secondly is I prayed about it and I asked God permission. So when I realized that, you know, I kind of do like him, right? I asked God permission to move forward. And I do this for all my relationships. And let me tell you, I have ignored it in the past. Like I probably asked God to, so what I would do is ask God to communicate with me through a dream. Like if he approves, then send me a dream to let me know, and if he doesn't, then, you know, let me know. My last relationship, that dream was so bad. I keep on asking God, like, you sure that's a dream? Like, can you send me another one just for confirmation? And definitely that wasn't the case. But in his situation, when I asked God for a sign, Oh my god, it was just so beautiful. It was just everything in the dream was green. I was at peace. It was green and red, and for me green and red are really good omens. I was dreaming of fish and fish's children, so I should have known by that time. But yeah, it was already like kind of like God was like, okay, yes, you can go ahead. So that definitely was something that for me was a sign, you know. But one of the biggest ones, which is a story time that I said I had to tell you guys, is that real situations expose people's like real personalities and who they are. So this is a story time. One time I came to visit him here in Atlanta because at the time I was going to school in Louisiana. So I came to visit him and we were driving through a neighborhood. Driving slow, actually. We were driving slow for a neighborhood. And I asked him to give me a kiss, right? So I asked him to give me a kiss, but like I'm still sitting in my chair, he driving, and he leans like all the way to my side because I wasn't even meeting him halfway. He leans all the way to give me a kiss, and his eyes goes off the road for like 2 seconds, and he ends up going straight into a man's mailbox. Okay. So the mailbox is down on the ground. He was like, it's his reaction. His immediate reaction was like, you okay? You okay? I was like, yeah, I'm fine. Like, are you okay? He was like, yeah. He definitely wasn't expecting that to happen. I was like, yeah, you know, I definitely wasn't expecting that. So what he did was park the car, knock on the door to let them know what happened. They were not home. He knocked on the neighbor's door, left his name and information, and told them that he would come back to repair it and or pay somebody to repair it. It was freezing cold. He went back to that house, put the mailbox back on himself, and then paid somebody to come and professionally do it. So he did like a temporary one and then paid somebody to professionally do it. When I tell you, to me, that's spoke volumes that like in real situations you were not blaming me like, girl, look at what you make me do, like you, why you didn't meet, like why you feel like now was the right time to, you know, guys will make all kinds of excuses and blame you for things. He was more concerned about like me, my well-being in that situation. He wasn't angry, he wasn't upset that he had to spend money, he wasn't upset that he had to go back in the cold, like, and if he was, he didn't let me know or feel that because I definitely didn't have, I never received that vibe from him. He just did what he had to do and don't complain. And that is the type of person that he is still to this day. He was before and he is now. And that was definitely a green flag for me. And that was definitely when I was like, oh my God, this is a person that I can see myself really, really being with. Because when ish hits the fan, he's just gonna take care of business. No long talk, no blaming and pointing the finger. It's just take care of business and move on. And I just felt like that was something that really like made me, because I was always in a situation where they would like blame me for shit that I didn't even have no business being blamed for. You know what I mean? So how we liking the lips? Yeah, I think the lips are okay. I don't know if I want to keep it matte or put my usual Fenty over it, but for now I'm just going to set my face. So yeah, at that point I was like, okay, I'm really feeling you for real, like, but let me see what else. You know, let me see what else you have to offer. But that was kind of when I was like seeing myself beyond just like dating him, I guess. And like I said, how he treated children too was a big thing for me, and how he treated family and friends was a big thing for me. How he treated me was also a big thing for me. How he took care of me, you know, in all types of ways, emotionally, physically, because there would be times where I would be like in physical pain, like till this day massages are still a thing, but back then he would always like do things like that to help me like calm down. What I'm trying to say is that he showed, I saw in that situation the real him, and that just made me feel even more like it just confirmed everything that I thought about him, you know, being a good person and being somebody that I can, you know, build with. So yeah, so you guys, this is the final look. So I'm just going to set using my Morphe continuous setting spray, and then that will be the end of the video. Gosh, oh, that's a lot, but I like it. And I kind of go back in with my sponge. I also wet my sponge with setting spray, and I go back in and set areas that misting might have missed. So just trying to avoid looking cakey. And once I do that, my makeup kind of just sets in nicely, and then I'm happy with it. And I just press it in. Isn't everything like nice and cohesive? Don't my lips look a little bit more plump? Okay. But yes, that is the end of the video. I'm just going to get dressed, and then yeah, tell me about your past relationships. Anything like traumatic, any red or green flags that you noticed early on, like, and how did you handle that, you know, when they showed you a green flag or when they showed you a red flag? Like, message me in the comments. I want to know. But don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.